It's 10 years since Concorde was retired. Is that the right word to use? Such an iconic image, wasn't it? Whenever you hear this, I always think of Concorde straight away, the old British Airways adverts.
British Airways announced the departure of Concorde Supersonic flight BA 300 to Bahrain.
We've been asking, have you ever flown on Concorde? Anthony Lovelace got in touch with us via Twitter. Anthony, I mean, you're a writer and also a photojournalist as well. You've been on Concorde. Isn't that right?
It was my life, I think.
You what, sorry?
It was one of the best days of my life.
What was it like? Come on.
It was... I'm an experienced flyer, but nothing prepared me for the experience of taking off in Concorde. You felt it as soon as the pilot released the brakes at the threshold of the runway. And, I mean, those 4 engines on Concorde produced 38,000 pounds of thrust as the afterburners were introduced. And you felt it as a massive surge of power in the cabin as the aircraft was propelled forward. And, I mean, most conventional aircraft achieve takeoff speed at around 130 mile an hour. Concorde surged to 225 miles an hour over exactly the same distance to take off. So the acceleration was just immense.
I can bet it was. It wasn't that big, though, was it?
No, it was. It seated just 100 people, and you sat in. There were 2 seats on either side of the aisle. Mm-hmm. So it was intimate. I mean, the cabin. It was longer than a 757, to put it in perspective. But it seated just a maximum of 100 passengers, 2 abreast, and the ceiling was low, so it lent the cabin quite an intimate feel. But, I mean, once you were up in the cruise, it was just amazing. I mean, you flew up in the stratosphere, so the friction as the aircraft moved through the thinner air used to cause the windows to heat up, and you could feel that heat when you touched them. And it also caused the fuselage to stretch. So on the ground it was 204 feet long, but in the heated airflow at Mach 2, when you were flying up at 60,000 feet, it expanded by 2 feet.
Wow. I mean, it's incredible, the technology behind it. It seems such a shame that the technology behind Concorde has now... Well, hasn't gone anywhere, but it's not being used. No,
it's desperately sad. I mean, it's left a gaping hole where there was a piece of futuristic technology. And I don't think there's ever been a comparable thing, certainly in our lifetimes, or even before, where something that was so advanced, that was available to us, won't be available to our children or grandchildren. It's just extraordinary. I mean, I feel I'm really fortunate that I got a chance to fly in an RAF Tornado, and to do that I had to wear a survival suit, a helmet, an oxygen mask, boots and gloves. And in Concorde, we were flying higher than I flew in the Tornado. We were going faster than we went in the Tornado, yet I was wearing a suit with an open neck shirt, eating gourmet food and sipping Dom Perignon.
That's the life, isn't it?
I don't. Do you remember BA ran a billboard ad a few years ago, which I thought perfectly captured the essence of Concorde. It played on her unrivaled speed, and it simply featured a picture of the aircraft cruising at 60,000 feet with that iconic image of the Earth visible below. And the copy was, again, just as simple as the image. It read, "Until they come up with a way to fax people." And to me, I thought that summed it up.
It is fantastic. It's such an iconic image as well. And when you saw Concorde fly over, I mean, there's no question. You knew exactly what it was. And when it was used for state events, flying up the Mall, surrounded by the red arrows and things like the Battle of Britain flight ahead of it or behind it, it's one of those iconic UK images. Yeah. I mean, it's in perfect company, isn't it? The red arrows and the Battle of Britain memorial flight. I mean, they all fit together. It's to me, it was the closest thing to a time machine this side of the H.G. Wells classic. Out of all of the British Airways fleet, and we're going to talk to Pauline in just a second as well, there's one at Bristol, Manchester, Edinburgh, one at Heathrow, Seattle, New York, Bridgetown, Barbados, and Weybridge as well. And that one at Weybridge has never commercially flown. You would have thought And many people might have thought, well, surely there needs to be one that's kept airworthy so we can roll it out for all of these big events.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we owe it to the next generation. That technology, it's still there. It's still capable of being flown. Richard Branson has said that he would put up the roughly £30 million cost of getting one airborne again. Richard Branson has said that he would fund it, which begs the question, why won't BA let Concorde fly again?
Do you think it ever will?
I'd like to believe it would, but there would have to be massive changes at BA for it to happen.
Anthony, thank you very much for joining us today. That's Anthony Lovelace, who's a journalist and also a photojournalist as well, writer, and has flown Concorde. Pauline!
Hello.
You've flown Concorde.
I have.
What was it like?
Oh, fabulous. Everything that gentleman's just said, it was exactly.
Where'd you fly?
We flew from Manchester to Russia.
Wow.
It was my husband actually won it, so it didn't cost us a penny.
Even better.
Yeah. We went to the Bolshoi Valley while we were in Russia, and we were given the gourmet food and champagne on the plane. And coming back, we had champagne, and we said to him, can we take an empty bottle home with us, this empty bottle home with us as a souvenir?
Yeah.
And he said no. And we said, oh, okay, fine. And he turned round, picked a full one up and said, but you can take this one.
Very nice.
It was wonderful. We actually went up on the flight deck as well.
That's classy, that.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Did you feel when you were boarding Concorde that you'd gone on? It sounds a bit elitist, this. It's not meant to be, but you almost feel like you've gone on to another level here.
Yes. Wow. Yes, it was wonderful. And on the way back, Concorde actually broke its own airspeed record.
Oh wow! So you were there by the old thing that went like Mach 1 or whatever.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fabulous. I'll never forget it.
Did you get your pictures?
Yes.
Did you take a knife and fork?
And a dish and a plate and and I can't find them. I can only find the dish. I can't find the others because we didn't live here when we did it. It must be at least 15 years, if not more ago, and we've moved since, and they seem to have vanished.
Oh no! I'm surprised you got back through customs after all that.
Well, yeah, but we did because we went with a company, you see. So, but yeah, we did, and it was fantastic. In fact, he played out with me, did the steward, because I had a cup of coffee or tea, and I let him take the cup, and then I said, I haven't got a cup and saucer. And he said, well, you should have kept the one you had. He said, you should have kept that one. I can't really bring you another. And I thought, oh, no.
Oh, you missed out there.
We did get some things from it. So, yes, and I've still got at least one dish.
And was it a once-in-a-lifetime experience?
Yes.
How did you feel then 10 years ago when you saw, and we have a little bit of footage here.
So 2 down, 1 to go. We're just waiting on the arrival of that final Concorde from New York. I can see it just off to my left, and there is a real buzz of excitement in the grandstand.
I mean, were you upset 10 years ago when Concorde was grounded?
It was sad, very sad, yes, yeah, because it was an absolutely fantastic plane. And, as the gentleman before me said, the takeoff was absolutely, it was the best takeoff I've ever been on. It just took your stomach with you, and it was, John, I know you're learning to fly, and I wish you could have
I wish I could have
been on it. It was great.
Pauline, that is fantastic. Thank you so much for getting in touch with us.
Something I'll never forget.
Absolutely. You lucky devil.
Good luck with your flying.
Oh, I'll need it. You lucky devil. Pauline, thank you very much for getting in touch. And go hunting around your house looking for those saucers and dishes and cups from Concorde. 10 years it's been grounded. What a